musician, he's an author, and a bottomless pit of stories. So Grant, I would like you to dig into that pit, call up another. Here's Grant Lawrence.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Suki and Lee, and thank you so much to DNTO and Honeycutt with the AC/DC right there. Thank you very much. Okay. This story takes place on the wild west coast of Canada in a place called Desolation Sound, British Columbia, where I spend a lot of time. And unlike Diane, I spend a lot of my time living in fear up there of wild animals and essentially being attacked by one. It is a oceanic wilderness, so there's lots of forests and there's lots of water. And I figured the more time I spent in the forest, I could be attacked by a bear or a cougar or a wolf. So I spent a lot of time on the water in my little boat. And out there, I would fish for prawns, you know, the jumbo shrimp type things. And what I would do is I have my prawn trap, which looks a lot like a lobster trap, but with a finer mesh net around it, about the size of a crate of bananas, with a very, very long rope attached to it. And what I would do is I would drop my prawn trap into the ocean, and I'd let out 300 feet of line. That's like a 30-story skyscraper turned upside down, pointed straight down into darkened ocean mystery. So, one gorgeous day in Desolation Sound, I was pulling up the prawn trap, which is quite a workout, pulling up 300 feet of line. And usually when the trap is about 20 feet down, it's kind of visual. I can see what's in there. And usually if it's a good haul, the trap is alive with pink chaos. All those little sea monkey-like prawns are just going nuts in there. This time, that wasn't happening. It was this red mass. That was all I could see. And so I kept hauling it up, and I lifted it up into the boat and stared down into this thing. It was this pimply red goo, kind of like a living lava lamp that was moving inside and filling the entire trap. And I leaned down hesitantly, and to my shock, this red lump rolled back and exposed a glaring yellow eye about the size of a golf ball staring right at me. And I realized, to my shock, that somehow through the entry point of the prawn trap, which is quite small, a great Pacific octopus had managed to get into the trap. It was now stuffed in there. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, I've got the thing with wild animals. I don't want to deal with this. I want the creature out of the boat as fast as possible. So I very gingerly reached down to the trap, which is on the bottom of the boat, and I flipped the release catch, and the octopus pours out of the trap like spilt jello all over the bottom of the boat, and this thing expands. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing was big. I swear to you, this thing must have had 8 legs, okay? And these legs are going in all different directions. And I scramble to the bow of the boat, the front. The octopus is at the back where the outboard motor is, not a good thing. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? And my first reaction was to reach for my fishing knife. All I could find was the sheath, no knife. The octopus, meanwhile, is glaring at me with its yellow eyes right at me while its tentacles are feeling up the boat like someone looking for their glasses on a night table. And to my horror and shock, I see one tentacle find my wrench and wrap its tentacle around the wrench. This is the wrench that I used to bang start the outboard motor, and the octopus is gripping it. With its other tentacle, it reaches out to the left, and again, to my shock and awe, the octopus finds my fishing knife and has the wherewithal to pick it up by the handle, not the blade. So the octopus is now armed and has 6 legs to go and is advancing upon me like Jabba the Hutt. And quite frankly, I felt like Princess Leia at about that moment. And so I'm thinking, I have to do something. I have to take matters into my own hands here. I don't want to reenact Life of Pi with an octopus. And who knows how long this could last. And so I look around my end of the boat, and all there was a big long oar, a paddle. And so I grabbed it, and as the octopus was advancing, I realized it was close enough that I could club it over the head. But I am a lover, not a fighter. And so I had a flash of what could even be called culinary genius, and I realized that instead of whacking it with the blade of the paddle, I could turn it flat like a giant spatula. And so what I did in one very careful lunge was slide the oar under the octopus, and the octopus went from a glare to the eyes kind of opening up very widely, dropping its weaponry and wrapping all 8 legs around the blade of the oar like a little kid hugging her daddy's leg. And so I hoisted the oar up into the air, and for a moment there was this beautiful contrast of this bright red octopus against the beautiful blue sky. It was like the flag of Swaziland. But here was this octopus now glaring down at me, and so I plunged the oar into the water, and with ballet-like grace, the octopus let go and was suspended in the water, and then in perfect synchronicity, with all 8 legs, it torpedoed itself back down to its octopus's garden beneath the waves. And before it did, as kind of a last-minute calling card, it let out a cloud of black ink in its wake in the water. And I collapsed down into the boat, cracked a beer, watched the sunset over Desolation Sound, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time that I have ever been attacked by an armed wild animal. Thank you very much.
Oh, Grant.
I'd like to be
Grant.
on
Are you sure you didn't crack that beer before the rowings thing? And are you sure you weren't confusing octopus with squid? Squid are tiny. I eat them in Chinatown.
No, believe me, this was a monster. I'm lucky to be here. So